Well, hello, good evening, good evening. How are you? Can you hear me okay? Because for some reason, my microphone is flashing yellow. So can you hear me? Hello, everyone, good evening. So I'm putting it in the chat. Can you hear me okay? Like I said, for some reason, my microphone is coming up yellow, which I don't understand. But anyway, it is what it is. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Reflections. Please drop a little quick note in the chat and let me know if you can hear me okay. Again, my microphone is blinking yellow. I don't know what that's about. Angela. Hey, Angela. Thanks for coming on tonight. Thanks. And you can hear me. I'm so glad. Thank you. I'm glad you're here. I see who else is here. Stanley Scott is here. Thank you. Thank you for coming on, y'all. It has been a rough day. The day, we buried Otis Anderson Jr. today, and the homegoing service was beautiful. It was beautiful. It really was. The tributes were phenomenal. The choir sang beautifully. The message from the pastor was really nice, but I'm going to share. This was his obituary. And I think you all can see that. And that was the front. This is the back, but it was several pages. It was about 8 pages long. And it was really beautiful. But just to be cut down in the prime of his life, I mean, life just getting started. And it was just a hard thing to watch. It really, really, it was. It was about easy 1,500 people, because I think the capacity of the church was about 1,500, and it was standing room only. The entire UCF football team, came up, and his high school was represented, and then all the brothers, all of his, his fraternity brothers, they were all there. And it was just, family and friends. It was really, really beautiful. It really was. But again, it was just a hard thing to watch. It really was. And I think for me as an educator, it made it so hard, especially when, I'm an educator, I'm a mother of athletes, bonus mom of athletes. And I know, that I think each year the statistics show that it's about 45 million 45 million, I wrote it down. Yeah, 45 million kids play sports every year. And of that 45 million, 80% will stop playing sports by the time they're 15 years old. So then when you look across the nation, 1.1 million high school students play football. And of that 1.1 million, only 71,000 will actually play college ball, college football. And of that, only 700 of them actually make it to the NFL. And Otis was one of those. He was 1.2% who actually made it, you know? And it's just, oh my God, it was just hard. It's hard to accept. It's hard to fathom. It's hard to understand. And then to see so many young people, I'm talking about 20-year-olds, 21-year-olds, 22-year-olds, just broken hearted, crying. But I will say this one thing that just left me without words. And that was, I saw so many fathers there comforting their sons. And that was a lot. That was a lot to watch. And for those who know the story, know what happened, know that Otis's dad, killed him. And we don't know what all happened and all of that. It's just so many unanswered questions. And it just seems so senseless, but nonetheless, I know that man loved his son. I know that. So I don't know what happened in that last moment. And but I know that's a grieving father right now. And he couldn't be at the funeral, because he is in jail at this moment. So it has been hard. It has been hard. It really has. It's been hard to be a part of, hard to watch, and to see those who loved him most, to see them hurting the way that they are hurting. It's rough. So, but we have lots of comments. So let's see what some of the comments are. So Ed said, I found out that they say whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger, but I think it must increase your faith or you will go nuts. Yeah, I agree, Ed. I agree. I tried to like it, but it didn't work. All right. Do you have Zoom or Facebook Live for two-way communication? I do. I just don't do that on this particular platform. I haven't done it on this particular platform, Stanley. So maybe that would be something that I'll look into in the future. But at this point, I'm not doing it two-way at this time. How do you know? How do I know what? Stanley, you asked me, how do I know? How do I know? How do I know Otis? Is that what you're asking me? I'm not sure if that's what you're asking me. Please type in, finish that sentence for me, and I'll answer your question, Stanley. So thanks so much. But thanks for being here tonight. But tonight, I wanted to talk about, we've all walked down that road where we're either the one grieving or we know someone who is grieving. His father's mindset, oh yeah, we don't know what his mindset was at that time. I just know the history, the 8 years that I've known that family, known Otis, that his father was very supportive. His father was there. They were a family unit. They moved as a family, a loving family. So don't have no clue what could have happened in those last and final moments. So, but nevertheless, I can only imagine. I don't know, but I can only imagine that is a grieving father, because we all who know and love Otis, we are all grieving. So I can only imagine that the father is grieving as well. But with that being said, we've all been in a situation where either we're the ones that are grieving, or we know someone who's hurting. We know someone who's grieving. And what I found is that, during that time, people can say some of the strangest things. And that's kind of what I wanted to talk about tonight. So, for those of you who may be new to this platform, new to my show, you know that Reflections is a part of my Fight to Smile brand, and Fight to Smile was designed for women to as a platform for encouragement and support, to encourage women, career-minded women who are trying to do the thing, trying to work and raise families and go to school and start their own businesses and be the boss. But this is a platform to just encourage women and to be a support and just an enlightenment to women. So we get together on Tuesday nights, and I have an open chat about various things that are going on, in our lives. So this is something, life and death is a part of what's going on in our lives. So that's why we're talking about it tonight. Stanley says people don't kill what they love. This is true, but people do have mental health breakdowns. So, and I'm not saying that I know that that's what happened. I don't know that at this point, we're all just grasping. We're all trying to understand what in the world happened. What happened? So I see Butch just logged in. Hey, Butch, it's good to see you. But with all of that, we've all been, journeyed down the road where we're either the one who is grieving or we're around someone who is grieving. And I was saying that so many people can say some of the strangest things during that time. They say the strangest thing to people, as if that's comforting. And I wonder in part is I'm wondering in part if that has to do with, just not knowing what to say, or just not thinking about what we are saying. Now, I just got a comment, and I might need to not try to respond to every single comment, but in no means do I mean all people or all situations, just talking about in general. So, but there are times that people can say some of the darndest things. They really can during that time. And, and I want you to open up the platform, to hear from some of you. What are some of the things that people have said during your time of grieving that was hurtful or caused more trauma and more turmoil? Because I don't know that, people are really intentional. I'm trying to be mean and I'm trying to be nasty. Or I'm trying to be insensitive. I don't know that that's really what people are intending to do, but I know sometimes that that's how it can come across. I think of one statement that I have heard many times, and not necessarily said to me, but I've heard it spoken. And I'm like, what? And that is, and maybe some of you have heard this before, where someone has said that, oh, God needed another flower in his garden. So he chose your child or your sister or your brother. Has anybody ever heard that? That God has chosen that needed another flower in his garden? And I think that that is one of the most bizarre things people can say. I mean, God owns every cattle on every hill. He doesn't need any people to be flowers. Flowers are flowers, So it's just very strange. Sean said, I've had people say, oh, they lived their life. Yeah, yeah, they did that, or that. Well, that's just the choices that they made, and that's how they ended up where they are. But that's not comforting. That's not comforting. And I thought at that time your words were supposed to try to be of comfort to someone. And like Sean, that I agree that nothing about that was comforting. Um I've had people, I've heard people say that, okay, well, I'm going to call you, I'm going to check on you, and then never do. Or here's one, people don't know what to say, so they say nothing. They completely avoid it. Ooh, that one's not comforting at all. They won't even bring it up, act as though nothing has happened. Whew, I think that one hurts. I think that one hurts. It's not even a matter of it not being comforting. That one actually hurts when you're not even going to acknowledge the loss. That one hurts. Um, I've heard people say during that time, oh, God will not put more on you than you can handle. And while this may be true, and the word, tells us that he bears our burdens with us, and we can cast our cares on him, this is true. But I particularly have never found those words comforting, not during that time of grief. What about you? Somebody else tell me, God will not put more on you than you can bear. What does that have to do for me? What does that have to do with I just lost my sister? What does that have to do with I just lost my brother? You know, or my parent, my child. What does that have to do? I just and I don't think that most people are, I'm just out here trying to be facetious. I'm trying to be hurtful, but I think people are trying, but they just don't know what to say. So they say anything. Anybody else know what I'm talking about? Anybody else ever experienced any of that? I see Sean is saying, yeah, no, that some things that people can say is of absolutely no comfort, none whatsoever. None whatsoever. Anybody else have any input, any comments about that? They're in a better place. Really? How does that comfort? Yeah, absolutely. How does that comfort? And really, sometimes, people, I mean, how do you know they're in a better place? How do you know? So yeah, I agree, Sean. That some of that's just not comforting. So let's talk about some things that are comforting. How about that? How about that? Let's try that one. Let's talk about some things. Oh, no, let's talk about this. Have you ever experienced this where they're supposed to be comforting you or come and sharing, expressing, condolences, but then they start talking about their loss? Have you ever seen that? And then they just dominate the conversation talking about, yeah, I remember when my mama died. And then just overtake the conversation about their experience. Has anybody ever experienced that? Look, I'm looking down at my phone. Has anybody ever experienced that? Tammy said, yes, all the time. All the time. Just take over the conversation, you know? Or I was reading online, this one lady said that, oh, I know how you feel. I had to put my dog down last week. This is my mama, and you talking about your pet? Really? Really? Oh my goodness. I saw another comment come up all the time. Oh, hey Karen. Hey Karen, I'm so glad you're here. So but nevertheless, that's a hurtful one. Oh, here's another hurtful one. I know how you feel. I know how you feel. Really? Do you really know how I feel? Really? How? I don't even know what I'm feeling. I'm at a loss. But you know how I feel. No, you don't know how I feel. You may have been in a similar situation, but that's your situation. Your feelings are your feelings. Your experience are your experiences. That's not mine. So we don't know exactly how someone else feels. We don't. We don't. So yeah, so now let's talk about some things that are a little bit more comforting during that time. How about just expressing your condolences, and just saying, look, I don't know what to say, but I am sorry for your loss. In these times, what I have found is that less is more. Less is more. Say less. Say less. I don't know what to say. I am at a loss for words. Being honest with people. I'm at a loss for words, but I am so sorry for your loss. How about, if you need to talk, my phone is on. Call me. Call me. My phone is on 24 hours just for you. If you need to talk, you need to cry, you need to vent, you know, asking people how are they doing in the midst of everything that's going on. Okay, I see everything's going on, but how are you managing? How are you sleeping? How are you? When's the last time you ate? Okay, because sometimes we get, especially if you're one of the ones involved in planning the funeral. Have you had to plan a funeral recently? Oh my gosh, that is so much work, so much hassle. And those that are planning get so caught up that they're forgetting to take care of themselves you know yes, Sean, I agree. It's all right to cry. It's all right to cry. I find that some people, not all people, Stanley, some people will avoid their feelings. And because they avoid their feelings, they think that that's comforting to help someone else not feel what they feel. So they say, oh, don't cry. Just be strong, just be strong. But you know what? I got to feel what I feel. I have to go through this. I have to feel what I feel. Yes, Karen, I agree with you 100%. Just being there is sometimes all that's needed. It's not even about speaking a word or trying to make sense out of madness. Okay. And just like with Otis's death, that just seems like madness. And there are no words. So sometimes just sitting there, just being there, being quiet, letting them, the loved ones, just holding their hands, or, just, less is more. Less is more. Trying to find an explanation, when there isn't one. And there you go, Stanley. I agree 100%. Just let them talk. Don't take over the conversation. Just let them talk. Just listen. Just being a listening ear. That's comforting. That's comforting. Let them share some of the memories, even you sharing some memories of the loved one. Those are ways, those are things that people find comfort in, sharing a fond memory. And then I think, I think it's real important that, I think we all have our assignments in families and, with our loved ones. And sometimes when people are in the midst of the grief or in the midst of the loss, sometimes it's our role sometimes to protect them from other people, you know? So, because some people can say some of the strangest things. And when you see, or, I have experienced, let me just speak from me. I have experienced where people are coming, trying to comfort, and they're saying, some of the darndest things. And I'll walk up and I'll, say something like, "Oh, you have a real important phone call. Come on, let's go. You got to go take this call." I'm lying. I know. I'd be lying. It's the funeral home. They need to talk to you. But they're just to get them away from people and their strange stories or their strange ways of trying to comfort people. I've done it. I've done it because I'm going to protect mine. Anybody that knows me, I'm going to protect my people. And if my people are the one that's hurting and someone is causing more frustration, I'm going to protect my people. Okay. And so sometimes that, that may be our role. We're the role of the protector, protect the family member, protect them, make sure they are able to take care of themselves. Sean said the answer of why is hardly ever known. So we shouldn't offer our opinion because that's all it is, Sean. That's all it is. I'm sorry, that's Pastor Sean, Pastor Barry. I'm sorry, Pastor Barry. That's all it is our opinion. That's all it is our opinion. So yes, I agree with you. Just trying to, give an answer when we don't have one. That goes back to what I said at the beginning. It's like, I don't know what to say. I don't have an answer. I don't have an answer. So but I can share my sorrow. I can express my condolences, and as a woman of faith, I'm going to pray. We can pray right now. Come on, let's go to the throne. Or I will continue to pray for you during this time of bereavement. So but there's just so many things that we can do if we just take a moment to kind of think about what it is that we want to say to those who are hurting and to those who are grieving. So that's well, we have faith in something, Stanley. Yeah, we all have faith in something, you know. But I appreciate you all joining me tonight. I cannot believe it has been 30 minutes already, but I do appreciate you all coming out. And for those who have expressed condolences and the loss of Mr. Otis Anderson Jr., is definitely a tragedy, loss of a young life, but a life that was well lived. He accomplished his goals, he accomplished his dreams. I know there were so many more that he and his significant other, were planning, but there are no answers at this time. There's only heartbreak at this time. So I ask that you continue to keep that whole family in your thoughts and in your prayers, because the days ahead are going to be challenging. So with that being said, thank you. Thank you for joining me tonight. And again, when we talk about, reaching out and comforting others, sometimes less is more. Sometimes less is more. And sometimes just listening and being quiet or just being present, being available, you know, providing a way for, sometimes it's so much going on during that time. Sometimes, you may need to provide an escape for someone, to just, get away from people for a minute and let's go take a ride. Let's go out to lunch or, something like that. So, there are just so many other things. There are so many things that we can do to be a blessing and of comfort to people. And, I think we all could do a little better in our approaches to how we help people manage their grief. So that's my show for tonight. I thank you all for coming out tonight. And let me see, let me hold this up for just a second. Just a moment. Here it is. Um, show it. It's not showing it. Okay, it doesn't want to show it. So with that, thank you. Thank you all being present and sharing memories. I agree, Ursula. Ursula, see, me and Ursula, we go way back, way back. We met in the 9th grade. That was just years ago. So yeah, we go way back. So I appreciate you, sis. Thank you for joining us tonight. And that's my show for tonight. So thank you all, and you all have a wonderful, wonderful evening.